Hey, Cornbread review off the bat, bro. You might not like my review then, man. Yeah, so all in all, man, I ended up coming up 2.5 out of 5. Two of them things.
Yo.
5 out of 5 cornbreads for the cornbread review. What you think?
Yo, welcome back for another Cornbread movie review. Hey, I hope y'all missed me because I missed y'all, man. Every week I get to interact with y'all, get new requests and everything. But make sure you like and subscribe the video though. You have to. And share too, man. I appreciate that. Make sure when you subscribe, turn the notification bell on to all so that you get all of my content from reaction videos to TV, series content, and of course, movies. That's why we're here, Cornbread Movie Review, right? So today, another highly controversial movie we're going to talk about is Malignant. Malignant is a horror thriller. It is rated R. It's about an hour and 45 minutes, and it's on HBO Max or theaters, or you can see it in theaters too. So it's a couple of housekeeping rules for this movie. So if you're new to the channel, understand that I do my Cornbread movie reviews in 5 categories. And the first category is acting. You know, how was the acting in this movie? So before I get into that, James Wan, he's more of the creator of this movie. He had some big budget movies like The Conjuring, Insidious. So he is in that horror realm, but he's also done Fast and Furious 7 and other big movies. So him taking on, hey, I want to create this new scary thriller, so I was on board. Hey, sign me up, especially with James Wan at the helm. I'm good with that, man. So I was on board for this. So acting, who's in this movie? Annabelle Wallis. I want to say she did a solid role in this movie. She had to be the only person who she dealt with loss, abuse, survival, finding herself, confusion. She got all these roles that she had to carry. And I think she did a pretty solid job on that. Now, everybody else, terrible. Can you look close? Terrible acting. I'm lost for words right now on the acting on this movie. It seems very, when you have like A-list celebrities, B-list acting, this is more like C. This is more like a movie that you will watch on the acting I'm just talking about. Something that you'll see like on, like BET. That's the type of acting, or MTV or something like that. It didn't feel like these actors, and I've seen these actors in other roles and other TV shows, so they did their job, but it just didn't come together in this movie. So for them, for Annabelle, I will give her probably a 3 out of 5. For the other actors, I'm gonna give them a 2 out of 5. So I'm gonna split the baby, and overall acting in this movie is 2.5 out of 5, man. Very choppy, was not believable, very cheesy, and I don't understand it. It seems like they just did one take and then it was like, all right, let's go to the next thing. So like I said, that's to me how it felt being in this. And this is a horror movie, but it was serious. It's not like one of those silly horror movies where the acting doesn't matter. No, this was a good budget movie. This was something that people were excited to see. So acting, 2.5 out of 5 for me, man. Next category, cinematography. I would say the budget, they had $40 million. A couple of the domestic violence situations were real, and domestic violence real, man. Y'all gotta take care of yourself, man. Stop trying to beat up other people, bro. Don't make any sense to me. I just have to shamelessly plug that in there from this movie. So I would also say this movie is very dark. I don't know. Obviously, it was on purpose for James Wan to say, hey, I want this movie as dark as possible and people to get that feel of being scared, especially, it didn't come out obviously around Halloween, but we're getting close to that time. But it's always dark. Like you rarely saw the sun. You didn't hear no birds chirping. People didn't smile in this movie. It was just all horror and death and dark. And sometimes that's good. It could have been the filter that they were using too. Sometimes that's good, but you need some type of contrast so that people can get scared, not just putting them in that situation of I already know something's going to happen, so that takes away the scared factor or the shock, at least on my end. Let's talk about the transitions, man. Very basic. What would happen is I'll give you two folds of what would happen every scene. It feels like it happened every time. Let's say you have an item, let's just say a cell phone. The camera would zoom in on the item, and then the actor would start there on the phone, and then they start the acting. Or you have a cell phone, it would already be zoomed in, and then they zoom out, and then the actor will start talking with the cell phone. It seemed like every time it was like the zoom man was extra happy. I don't know if they ever get to use the zoom, but it seems like every scene was zoomed in or started extra zoomed in and then panned out. So transactions gotta be better on that. I really enjoyed the scenes where the actor was in her mind stuck in a place, and then around her the scenery would change and they'll go into a different scene. I would say very creative in that. Great job on that. Green screen work and things like that. So that was a couple kudos that I enjoyed with that. But it didn't break the cinematography bank for me. So overall, it's going to get a 3 out of 5 from me. The death scenes were, hey, when people die. So they get some good nods in that. But I think they could have did a little bit better, especially on how, like I said, from paper to film. I would say they missed the mark on a couple things visually, right? All right. Next category is storytelling. So this movie takes place in 1993. It starts off in 1993, then it comes to present day in Seattle, Washington. Throughout this movie, I felt like, how did we get to this point? So basically, from the trailer, you see, hey, she has this imaginary friend, and he comes back and does some things to her and everybody else, right? So if that's the premise, stick with that premise. If it's not about devils and demons and goons and goblins, your world shouldn't have those individuals in this, right? So you got to kind of pick your poison on how you want to go further on this storytelling of a scary movie. And I think they jumped all over the place with this. All right. I was unsure how, if you have goons and goblins, our entity, I understand why lights is flickering and things are falling down and there's fog everywhere. But if you don't have that, how do those things happen, right? Like, come on, man. The inconsistencies got to get better on those things. I would also say how you have the person, how he can only speak through a radio, but towards the middle and end of it, he's speaking through a radio, TV, cell phone, Morse code, sign language. Like, come on, man. Like, it has got out of hand. It was very inconsistent. How the monster was killing people, even though those scenes were the same. It feels like every time he was about to kill somebody, they announce themselves. They flicker on the lights, open a door, the person acts scared, and then they kill him. And I'm not telling you the movie, but because, like I said, you're here for a scary movie, right? So there's going to be a couple people killed, but it feels like every scene was the same. So storytelling, the writers had to get better, be more creative in how people die if you're going to kill them and if it makes sense, man. So we got to do better with that. So storytelling overall is going to get a 3 out of 5 again for me, man. We'll get into kind of the ending, but 75% of this didn't make sense. Like, how do we get here? But they kind of saved themselves just a little bit. And we'll get into it. So storytelling, 3 out of 5 for me in storytelling. All right. Next category. Did I get what I bought? Once again, this movie is on HBO Max right now, which HBO's Max is $15 a month. So if you pay for the subscription with them, then you get the movie for free, which is always good. You know, it's not like a Disney Plus situation where you got to pay extra. If you go to the theaters, it's $10 to $15 depending on when you go. So I would say fairly priced, right? Like, you know, scary movies around Halloween, always sign me up for those. Going into it, only saw one trailer, so I had no expectations on what I was going to see. I just expected, with the history of the director, that I was going to get a solid scary movie. It really wasn't that scary to me. I would say it's kind of strange. So they were creeping on the strange, scary part of the man, could this happen type of thing, instead of the oh gotcha type of scary. So I didn't get any of that. But like I said, I didn't have expectations on how I was going to perceive or watch this movie. I would also say, without giving the movie away, where are these extra powers coming from? Like, I don't know. Like I said, it made sense, but it didn't at all. So if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So the scenes were sporadic and going from place to place to place. People were not acting like their normal character on how normal people would work. Like if I saw damn near a spirit in my house, I'm either leaving or I'm telling people. And those consistencies weren't there with how people would really act in the real world, even though you want us to believe that this could happen, right? So did I get what I bought? I'm going to say a 3.5, just because, like I said, I didn't have expectations. So I'm not mad that I saw this, but I think the execution from the movie hurt it some. So did I get what I bought? 3.5 out of 5. And then last category, is it a must-see? I would say it's violent, which always gets some pluses for me. Some of the death scenes, real. Some of the action scenes, you got a lot of action in this, which is positive. You know, I came for that, so I got some of that, right? Obviously, it's the scene again where we see this damn near in almost every movie that it's a pet peeve of mine, that everybody has guns, but nobody can shoot them. Nobody can aim. No, come on, man. Nobody gets shot. But the bad guys or the other people, but nobody on the other side ever gets hit, you know, with all these guns. So there is a crazy twist at the end. It's not a spoiler alert, but just be prepared. 75% of this movie didn't make sense. The twist at the end covered up half of the questions that I had. And I'm sure you guys out there had questions as well. But since we did go that way, the other half of the movie didn't make sense because those aren't possible, right? So I'm interested to know kind of what you guys thought about this movie, and if I'm bugging or if I'm right on in what I'm saying. But is it a must-see? At least the good thing is it is an original horror. I haven't seen this type of movie before, so it does get a couple more points for that. A lot of my friends were talking about watching this, so at least I heard the buzz that, hey, this movie is coming out, and I had to do a review on it. So is it a must-see? I'm going to say a 3.5 out of 5 for those reasons as well. So overall, Malignant, it gets 3 out of 5. I've seen worse movies, but I've seen way better movies, man. This movie it airballed in a lot of categories, but it also shot the ball. Some people, hey, if you can't make a shot unless you shoot it, right? So, and it was airballing, but at least it was shooting its shot, man. So overall, this movie gets a 3 out of 5 from me. Check out my 2021 movie review so far. We rolling through these things, man. I'm not playing with y'all. So now we're going to talk about a forgotten segment. I'm never going to leave y'all without, giving y'all a movie that make sure these movies are certified 4 through 5 Cornbread movie reviews, man. So I'm not going to send y'all off. This movie came out in 2013. It's more of a sci-fi action movie, which I had really no to low expectations on this movie. And this movie, I said, oh, this movie's good. It blew me away. And this movie is called Ender's Game. Yes, Ender's Game is the movie. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, or if you have seen it, you need to double back and watch it again. But top-notch movie. Asa Butterfield is in this movie. He's a kid at that time. Like I said, it came out in 2013. So if you pull up a picture of him now, he's kind of older. But he did a good job. Isn't some other A-list celebrities in this, or A-list actors in this movie as well. So from acting to cinematography to the suspense of how is this going to happen. There are twists at the end. It's more of save the world type of movie, but you get all those in this movie, man. So make sure you check it out. Ender's Game is my forgotten movie today. Malignant is the movie that I'm doing a review on. Let me know what you think, like and subscribe, and I'll be back with another episode next week, of course, man. Holla at y'all. Peace.